Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. If you want to join me on my live streams, just a reminder that I will be live streaming soon. The link is in my description and as well as the comments. I'm streaming on my backup channel called Good Free Photo Channel, so like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. I also have another crypto channel called Crypto Daily Updates, and that'll encapsulate all the day's great crypto news into one video. So Crypto Daily Updates and Good Free Photos, check that out. A link in the description and the comments. So now we're going to talk about why I think that this recovery for the economy and probably for crypto is a fake out. So, like now that the Dow has actually fell about 100 points today, it actually opened about 100 points up, which made absolutely no sense at all with the jobless claims. I'm not really sure what people got optimistic about today, honestly, when the market opened. I mean, the jobs numbers and especially the area around New York was far worse than actually expected. A lot of the business around New York was down like in some sectors 75% or more. Jobless claims hit like 15 million and it's probably past 20 million in reality. The small business loans essentially has dried up as reported by CNBC. So I'm not really sure what people were actually excited about because there were no good signals. And also, New York and other East Coast states has extended the shutdown of non-essential businesses to May 15th, according to New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo. The small business loan program has hit 349 billion limit, is now out of money, and that only took 2 weeks for that money to actually run out. They are developing mass screening and mass tests, but there's really nothing that would actually suggest a real turnaround in the economy, anytime soon. So the market actually opening higher today didn't really make any sense at all. I mean, yes, that they are. The U.S. intel community is exploring some theories about where the virus originated, but they don't have any conclusive proof. And actually, like everyone thinks that the virus actually originated from naturally. It was just a question of where did it first spread. So it's been a choppy Dow session today, but last week's revival in the stock market didn't really make any sense at all if you really think about it. The last 2 weeks, I mean, there's still very little to the end of the virus in sight. We know unemployment numbers are going to be crap. Yes, we have the stimulus, but we know that families are going to be hurting really bad after the stimulus. The debt is actually expanding. So realistically, like based on the news and the timing of the world events and how long we're actually going to be locked down, or at least for another month or so, the fact that homeless shelters like on CNBC seeing here are going to run low on cash and unemployment is still rising, there's just no real reason for the stock market or the economy to actually have a kind of like a good session like it did the last 2 weeks. If you remember that during the Great Recession, I think it was Mark Cuban or one of Warren Buffett's advisors that actually said this. During the Great Depression, we actually went down like 50% very quickly. Then we recovered about 60% of that downturn before going down another 90% to bottom out. Now that took over the course of 34 months. This one won't last as long, and I doubt we'll go down 90%. That's very, very unlikely. Because even though the numbers for this downturn right now are worse than the Great Recession, they are not as big as the Great Depression. But I do think this is a fake out and will go down again. Now, as for crypto has followed the stock market pretty tightly. This morning, it actually went up because the Dow actually opened positively, but it hasn't gone down so far. Now that the Dow's gone negative, it might actually continue to bounce up a little more before going back down, in my opinion. There is the halving. Like, that's the one thing that crypto has that the traditional stocks and the economy hasn't. But, we've already gone from like 4 or 5,000 to 7,000 or so. And that actually, if you guys think about it, might have been the bounce. Because for Litecoin, BSV, BCH, they all got that bounce over a month before their actual halvings. And you saw that for Bitcoin as well. So that March bounce from 4 to 5,000 to 6 to 7,000 might have actually been the bounce, and we might actually go down after the halving, despite the minimum price that's actually required to keep Bitcoin profitable mining. We might go down into unprofitability for a little while, just like we did during the hash war about a year and a half ago. We might actually go down for a little while before coming back up. Now, I do believe ultimately it'll come back up, but I think it'll be later in the summer before both the economy and perhaps crypto really comes back up. Now, there are some people saying that it's going to push back the bull run from 2021 to 2022, and I don't discount that possibility because this recovery for the economy back to 3% unemployment will probably take longer than I originally thought. I think it's much going to be like a U-shaped recovery rather than a V-shaped recovery because, like I said, a lot of the small businesses are shuttering, are probably going to have to close for good, and those jobs aren't coming back. And plus, I think a lot of retail businesses have been looking for an excuse to shed jobs anyways, and not all those jobs are coming back. And like the businesses that do come back can't actually replace all the jobs of the jobs that are actually lost permanently. So I think we'll hover around 6 to 7% unemployment for quite a while because not everyone is going to be hired back, and even if we do, not everyone's going to be hired back with the same salary that they actually had before. A lot of those people that were furloughed or laid off are probably going to be furloughed or laid off for good. Like if you work for a small business under 20 people, which a very good amount of Americans do, and that business closes, those 20 people are now out of a job. There are over 5 million businesses like that in the United States. So you can see like how many people would actually be out of a job if a lot of those actually close. And that is very, very bad news for the economy, even if we do start to recover. Because remember, there's still a chance that we open too soon, we go back into a relapse because Trump is trying to, for political reasons, Trump is actually trying to push the economy open as soon as possible. But by doing that and by having people get into close contact with each other, that could actually spike the cases and the deaths up again. And if we have to go for another shutdown, a second wave of shutdowns, that I think will be even more devastating than the first. So at least for the broader economy, I think this recovery is a complete fake out, and we will have another dump. And I do think that the people that were called for a bottom around 20,000, 18,000, I think they actually might be wrong, and we will actually might go down further once it actually hits that, hey, a lot of people are out of a job. Jim Cramer has actually said like it's actually been a lot of bot trading in the economy that's actually been floating it up. I don't know if I believe that. It could just be people think that this is going to be over sooner than it actually is, and they actually are buying the stocks or trying to get stocks at a cheaper price. But right now, for like airlines, hospitality, and all that stuff, I think in many parts of the country, it's going to be at least another month. And like Q1 numbers are already really bad, and Q2 numbers are going to be super bad as well, probably even worse than Q1. And I think unemployment is not going to trough until maybe about 2 weeks from now. You're talking about 20, 25 million Americans out of a job and that aren't going to immediately come back. I think it'll be well into the summer before unemployment starts to really starts to improve again. And that's why I think this current economic recovery of the last week or two, or the stock market recovery, has been a fake out. And I think since crypto follows the stock market pretty closely, I think the current crypto market recovery could be a fake out as well. So that is my analysis. Let me know if you agree, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.